So, Horace, I have a video that I really, really wanted your thoughts on because, again, it's something I think you don't talk about that much. I think I kind of latch onto it a bit more because I just think it's wild that it's even a concept as part of a quote unquote religion. But you know what Taqiya is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So do you understand that it's allowed in Islam, right?
Yeah.
And so you're very well aware that obviously trickling down to the layperson, I've done streams with Lloyd on this, Taqiya isn't really even something that we're supposed to know. I guess if you were in a state of war, you would just be armed with the knowledge that if you had to save yourself, you're allowed to lie about your religion or whatever. But the fact that obviously the gatekeepers of Islam, the sheikhs, the ulema, the imams, they would obviously know exactly what Taqiya means, what it entails, when to do it, how to do it. And again, the major concept behind Taqiya is the fact that you're allowed to do it when the motive is the propagation of Islam, essentially. Yeah. So anything that is saving face for Islam or pursuing the goals of Islam in those contexts, Taqiya is very much not only allowed but encouraged. Okay, so I have this video.
Let me show you. Wow. So we got clerics saying that, because people like me usually say, oh, an ordinary Muslim doesn't know about it. This is such a low-hanging fruit. But you're saying even clerics are endorsing and promoting it?
No, so yeah, I mean, essentially, but you know, again, what we're talking about Muslim infighting in a different segment, but it's just, so there's this cleric called Wasim Yusuf. I believe he is from the UAE. And I also believe that basically because of his, I mean, Horace, you're going to see it, and I think you're going to feel as bad as I do. Like, he's so on the brink of being ex-Muslim, but he knows nothing else, that he's like, I just don't understand it.
Let's play it.
Okay, but he's been ostracized, just to give you some context, by a lot of the sheikhs in the UAE, apparently. Apparently, I need to fact check this, but he's lost his Imam status and he had to pay a fine based on what he said. But listen to truth bombs being dropped by a sheikh himself.
تعلم شو سبب يعني كثير من رجال الدين كره وسيم يوسف؟ لا والله شو تحليلك؟
شيخ أعلم
ليه شو تحليلك؟
وراجعت لأنه يردون الدين يصير من خلالهم فقط، وإحنا ديننا قوي.
لأنه ما يريدون حد. أنا تربيت بينهم.
Read in the midst.
درست على أيديهم.
أنا
إنسان تربيت بمساجدهم ودرست على أيديهم، وكثير أمور كنت غير مقتنع فيها بس لا أجرؤ، والله أخاف. كنت لا أقتنع بمسألة الجواري. كيف أنا كأمة
the first issue already, the sex slavery, he's like, is killing him inside.
That's the second issue. The first issue was, he said that I grew up in the mosques and I have been reared. Okay, so sex slavery is the first issue. So he's got that problem.
Okay, and look what he's saying right now. Like, this is genuinely what somebody who knows the faith would need to grapple with. How can I be of the Muslim community calling towards justice and virtue when obviously he knows what Islam says? Let's see.
والعدل أذهب أغزو قرية وأخذ حرمة حد واغتصبها، أنام معها، أجامعها، وأطالب ابنها يسلم.
Thank you.
أنا أحط نفسي في أنا ما كنت أقتنع.
I would not be convinced.
إني أدرس هذا المنهج. مطالب مني أن أقر، لأن كطبيب لا أقتنع هذا العملية، يمكن تموته بس هو موقع ورقة بموت. علمت؟ فكنا دائما يعني مثلا تخيل أنا مسيحي.
Check this, Horace.
ودخل علي جيش المسلمين.
Yeah, we always raise this hypothetical.
أخذ أمي.
He's literally grappling with it.
أنا مسيحية أصبحت جارية خادمة ويجامعها آخر الليل. علمت؟ وأنا كمسيحي كيف أدخل في الإسلام؟ وأنا أرى امتهان عرض أمي أمامي. حنا تعرف شو مشكلتنا أهل الإسلام؟ ما نقيس المصايب على أنفسنا.
Yes.
ما أدري إذا أنت مقتنع إلى الآن ولا لا. ما نقيس المصايب على أنفسنا.
يعني ما سألتك إذا ما أريد
أقول لك حنا مصيبتنا دائما نقيس مصالحنا. يقول لك لا تبرز هذا الأمر للعامة. لا أخفي العامة لا يصلح أن تعطيهم تعدد آراء. أعطيهم رأي واحد. موجود عندنا مصايب في كتب الدين والفقه، موجودة كثيرة، بس هم ما يحبون يناقشون ولا يحبون نعرضها على الناس. وإذا عرضتها يقول لك فلان يشكك، وإذا عرضتها دقيقة، إذا عرضتها يقول لك دقيقة، إذا عرضتها يقول لك يشكك الناس في الإسلام. لا، انا ماشي، هذا موجود في كتب الاسلام. لما يجيني حديث النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يطوف على نساء 9 وبغسل واحد وتذكر موجود في كتب الاسلام. لما يجيني حديث النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يطعمني الله ويسقيني، وحديث آخر يربط الحجر على بطنه، موجود في كتب الإسلام. ليه تخافون من الناس؟
أيوة،
ليه تخافون من الناس؟ ليه؟
Oh my God.
هذا موجود. فعندنا كثير أمور رجال الدين يخفون 90% ويخشون والله يخافون يطلعون. أنا كنت دائما أتمنى أصحاب الفكر المتشدد يطلع يفتي للناس. والله أمنية حياتي أصحاب الفكر المتشدد يطلع يفتي الناس. لن يستمر. لماذا؟ لو نتبنى تراثا فيه مصائب.
calamities.
مثلا تسأل واحد ما حكم مسلم قتل رجل مسيحي في وطنه، وش الجواب تتوقع يا أبو سليمان؟ شو الجواب تتوقع؟
He makes such good points, you know, and he's saying that a lot of Muslims try to hide it. That's the difference, because in this day and age, all of that, they've uploaded that on the beautiful world of the internet. So you just go to sunnah.com, search sex slaves, concubines, captive women. You get everything that's ever been written about it in the Sahih Hadith books.
Mm-hmm.
You find all of that, and then you're like, whoa, that's a lot. How do I damage control this? So a lot of ex-Muslim activists have been putting that out there for the last 7, 8, 5, 6 years or something. And now there's another level. Now, I asked the same question to Daniel Hakikachu in my debate. You know what he said? He said, well, war is ugly, war is nasty. Well, you know, the United States dropped nuclear bombs as well. So I would rather be a sex slave than get a nuclear bomb dropped on me. That's what he said. And this is exactly what he said, that Muslims are always looking out for their own best interest. Like, yeah, so what?
The other option they give as well is to say that it's a mercy, that it's better to be raped and sold as a sex slave than to die.
Yes.
But you ask any woman in that situation, I'm sure she'd say, kill me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would.
So these are the kind of excuses they have to make because of their already repugnant ideology. If this ideology did not have sex slaves, let's just say that. There's another hadith that he casually dropped, like our Prophet Muhammad used to go and have sex with all of his wives in one night in a single bath. Imagine if that piece of information just didn't exist. That would have been one less embarrassing thing for Muslims to defend. But because it's in there and the Prophet did it, just purely by virtue of that, they have to do the impossible, i.e. defend it. That's how bad it is, Nuria.
He's even actually done a video where he really braced Muslims beforehand, and he's like, look, I'm doing this completely out of respect. But he basically showed a Charlie Hebdo cartoon in one of his videos. I was just watching it. But then I couldn't get around to watching his others. But I think he has been ostracized because he just makes these videos now. He's like what they would call a critical take. As far as I know, that's what I've heard, but I haven't looked into him enough. But in this video, he says so much truth that's just shocking. Like somebody like him on the brink of being like, I don't believe this, but I've signed the contract now. There's no turning back. He knows.
Was he a cleric as well?
Yeah, he was an Imam.
Oh, wow.
And I think he's lost his status because of this, that he's basically disclosed that anything that they don't want, they'll just put it aside.
But I think these are such ordinary, rational points. I always bring that up to my Pakistani audience all the time. Like, imagine if Indians attacked Pakistan or your village in Pakistan. They killed all your men and took your wives and mothers and sisters and daughters as sex slaves. How would you feel? They have no answer to that. But I'm saying, you are literally saying that that's what your Prophet, the most merciful, the most revered man who ever lived, the best example who ever lived, did, and you have to defend it with a straight face? They can't. It's such a simple point. And you wonder, why can't Muslims see it? There's only one reason behind it. Because they've been told that no matter what, you have to defend Muhammad.
يدخل الجنة لكن لا يقتل. ليه؟ لأنه مسلم ممنوع تقتله. لا يقتل مسلم بكافر. زين، لو أنا ذهبت لأوروبا وقتلني مسيحي وجاء القاضي قال أوكي بس يدفع الدية وممنوع نقتله. ليه؟ لأنه مسيحي. شو رأيك أنت؟ إحنا ما نقيس الأمور، إحنا نقيس الأمور بس لصالحنا، ما نقيس الأمور لصالحهم. تقول لك لا تبني كنائس في الدول العربية يا مرتزقة يا كفرة. وإحنا نطالب نبني مساجد في أوروبا ونزعل.
واحنا عندنا مساجد
في اوروبا ونزعل اذا ما بنينا مساجد، نزعل. يقول لك ياتي رجل دين اخرج المشركين من جزيره العرب. لماذا لم يخرجهم أبو بكر رضي الله تعالى عنه؟ ألم يسمع الحديث؟ لماذا لا يخرجهم عمر؟ ألم يسمع الحديث؟ ما حد صحابي سمع الحديث وذهب لعمر وعثمان وعلي وقال لهم أنتوا ليه جعلين المشركين جزيرة العرب؟ ليه؟ يعني وش هذا الحديث اللي ما سمعوا فيه الصحابة كلهم وما خبروا؟ وين نصح ولي الأمر؟ فرضا أنا صحابي وسمعت الحديث، أين نصيحتي لولي الأمر؟ أنا أذهب لأبي بكر أو عمر أو عثمان أو علي وأقول أخرجوا المشركين، لماذا لم أخبرهم؟ لماذا لم أطبق وصية النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم؟
Great point, mic drop.
Nuria, but not only the polytheists expelled, polytheists, to the best of my knowledge, a lot of them
Jews
were
and
killed.
Christians too. They
Jews
said
and Christians too. He didn't mention Jews and Christians. Yeah.
No, I said Jews and Christians too at some points. But Horace, it was so funny. I was doing my talk with Hani, and I was saying that when I lived in Saudi and I did a school trip to Taif, and Taif is like a very mountainous area with like kind of different type of weather pattern to the rest of like Saudi, and there's loads of monkeys there. And in my head as a Muslim, I was imagining the story of Prophet Muhammad where he gets the rocks chucked at him by the Jews in Taif. And then Hani stopped me and he's like, did you say there were monkeys? And I was like, yeah, I was weirded out. And he was like, yeah, they're not monkeys, those are the, and I was like, Jews and the Christians that were turned into monkeys.
All right.
The Quran came true.
Yeah, that's okay, that's how they got it. Okay.
Imagine if I thought that thought, then I would have been even more of a believer. Like, shoot, that happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, through all of this transmission, no one's carried out the will of the Prophet and expelled the polytheists at the very least. Yeah. That's a very good point.
أنهم لم ينصحوا أو لم يسمعوا، ولا كيف هذا الحديث وصلنا؟ كيف هذا الحديث جاء نقل إلينا ولم يسمع به أبو بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي؟ في تساؤلات كثيرة. أنت لو تتعمق بالمصائب التي يخفيها رجال الدين، لماذا الشباب الآن لا يريدون سماع خطابهم؟ لأننا غير واضحين مع أنفسنا. حنا غير واضحين مع أنفسنا، حنا مجالسنا الخاصة تختلف عن العامة. يأتي أحد يقول السمع والطاعة لولي الأمر ويتبنى فتوى.
He said our private conversations are different from our public conversations, Nuria. Isn't that what Yasir Qadhi said? He said privately we all talk about it. The academia and the scholarship knows all about the issue of the Quran's preservation. He said we all know that it just doesn't make any sense. But publicly, we've been telling everyone, oh, everything's in order.
That's the I'm talking about, Horace. That's the literal, verified, get out of jail, let's just lie our way through this. That's why everything they propped up for so long thus far with the standard narrative, it's getting shot to pieces now, whichever way you look at it. I mean, the stupidest thing they could have ever done was bring these things to global, like the World Wide Web, honestly. It was better off in their libraries with their hardback old classical Arabic, which none of us knew and would let get dusty. You know, we just think that a woman threw rubbish at the Prophet and he went to check on her. That's how we'd be living our lives.
Yes, I know. Yeah. No, but even the native Arabic speakers did not know all of that, because who's got time to read through all these books?
Yeah.
But now, as I said, go to sunnah.com, put intercourse. You'll find some of the worst and filthiest examples of men behaving badly. You would
type
find
the word semen, you'll be in for a horror show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Muslims love to talk about Illuminati and the secret societies. This was the secret society that they maintained for 1400 years, Nuria.
Touche, touche.
They kept these 30 secrets hidden and locked away for nearly 1400 years until the big World Wide Web come about, and it said, oh, sorry, this is what it is written in these books. And we're like, huh? And now we have overwhelmed these scholars to answer these questions, and to a point that even those scholars themselves are asking, how can I justify killing men of other cultures and religions and taking their wives or taking their women as sex slaves? How can I justify that?
Because if the tables were turned, you would be absolutely mortified.
Exactly.
Yet, as he's saying, that Muslims never think about it like that. Never.
يتبناها. أي دولة الآن يقول لك السمع والطاعة لولي الأمر إذا هو قوي، بس إذا ضعف ولي الأمر وحد قلب عليه، حكم المتغلب يا دكتور وسيم. وش حكم المتغلب؟ أطيع الأقوى، خلاص ليه حقن دماء المسلمين؟ وين الطاعة لولي الأمر؟ وين الولاء؟ ما يسكتون. أغلب رجال الدين في عصرنا ضد بناء الكنائس ويريدون ويجمعون تبرعات بناء المساجد في أوروبا، بس ما يقدرون يتكلمون، ما يقدرون يصمتون، عندهم تقية. حنا نقول لك والله ياتي رجل دين يقول لك الشيعة عندهم تقية، حنا عندنا تقية. حكم المتغلب تقية، حكم النشيد الوطني تقية، حكم الوقوف للعلم تقية. يا رجل عندنا زواج المسيار وغيره، ابن عاشور أجاز المتعة مع شروطه طبعا وساكتين، وهو من أئمة أهل السنة، بس عندنا تقية. عندنا، أنا ضد هذا طبعا، لكن عندنا تقية.
Hang on, what is he saying? I didn't get it. Pause it. Explain it to me.
He was just saying that we Sunnis say that Shias have such like disagreements and
like muta.
Yeah, and that they're not unified on certain practices and they've got weird practices. But he's like, dude, even in Sunni Islam, we've got misyar marriage happening. So the leader of the Sunni world, Ibn Ashur, says mutta is permissible with certain conditions. So this guy, Wasim Yusuf, is saying, I'm obviously against all of this. He seems like a very like one man, one
woman guy.
Yeah, exactly. But he's just saying that like even within Sunni Islam, they're just quiet about all of these practices that we even try and say, oh, that's gross stuff that Shias do. So he's like, they're just quiet about it. The same thing exists here, the same filth, basically.
لو جاءت حملة مسيحي ويأخذ أمي ويجامعها وأنا أشتغل عند عبد ويريدني أدخل دينه ودين الله أن جعلهم عبيد لنا، لا يا حبيبي، ما حد عبد لحد.
Yes,
هذا موجود في أفكارنا. فإذا سؤالك 90% يخفون رجال الدين من المعلومات، 90%، ولا يريدون الناس أن تعلم، ولا يريدون الناس أن تعلم، ويحرفون الكلام ويكذبون. تصور والله العظيم يكذبون إلا من رحم الله، والله يكذبون، موجود. فعادي يا أبا سليمان، ليه مستغرب أنت؟ تجارة سيدي. احنا محتاجين نكون صادقين مع بعض.
It's just business, Horace.
كثير من رجال الدين لا يريدون هذا الصدق ويرون من يخالفهم عدو الإسلام وهم أعظم أعداء الإسلام. علمت؟ والله العظيم أغلبهم لا يستطيع أن يتكلم بفتواه التي يتبناها على الهواء. أقسم بالله ما يستطيع. إرضاع الكبير. إرضاع الكبير. عندنا أمور لو قلناها لتزندق الناس.
Yes, they would.
كفر الناس.
When we tell them they don't.
لا بخفيها. يأتي مثلا مسألة لا يقبلها عقل
ولا دين.
عنده فتاوى لا يقبلها مسلم لا يقبلها، مسلم لا يقبلها، يأتي يخفيها. وأحاديث لا يقبلها عقل يخفيهن. لماذا؟ يقول حتى الناس رحمة بعقول الناس، بدلا من أن يقول سأنقحها وأنظر إليها وأجعل القرآن حكما رحمة بعقول الناس، فيقول لا نحافظ عليها ونخفيها. علتهم تعرف شو مشكلتهم؟ أنهم جعلوا كل النصوص كالقرآن، وجعلوا كل النصوص تحكم القرآن، ولم يجعلوا القرآن حكما. الله أنزل القرآن لنحتكم إليه، يبين لنا.
We just discussed this news story. The link is in the description of 400,000 blasphemers in Pakistan, and now these clerics, and I've known this for a while, but it's always been the question of when are they going to come out and openly express their dissent? When are they going to do it openly? I've had thousands of letters, messages. I've spoken with these ex-Muslims, imams, scholars of Islam, YouTubers. You recently spoke with someone who is on the brink. It's happening all around us. Now, yes, I get it. It's still anecdotal, but it's not only just anecdotal anymore. This study showed that Pakistan is the 7th most Islamophobic country in the world. We're seeing Pakistan Intelligence Agency reporting that there are 400,000 accounts who are blaspheming against Islam and the holy figures of Islam. And now, I think it's all happening. It's all happening, as they like to say that in Australia, as Bill Laurie says.
It's all kicking off. It's all kicking off, as we say here.
It's all kicking off. So, I don't know. This is, but Nuria, what you pointed out, what this guy said, yes, he had this the traditional Arab headgear and how sheikhs addressed, and he looked very very imami, he looked like that. And it's coming out, and what he's saying is exactly what we've been saying for so long about sex slavery, about amputation. Yeah, he didn't touch on that. The sexual promiscuity that's been propagating or that's been institutionalized within Islam. He's talking about it as a Muslim imam. And you're like, whoa. But these arguments are so freaking basic, Nuria. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Get ready. as they like to call it, oh, this is ex-Muslim is a booming industry. Yes, our industry is about to boom. Stay put.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, this is only good stuff if he's able to say this and this is like televised or YouTubeized or whatever. The fact that there's critical, that whatever he's called, like a critical Islamic scholar, where again breaks away from the mainstream, probably be ostracized. But the fact that he looks at people in the eye from his position of power and says, our fiqh books are filled with absolute calamities, that even to a normal layperson as a Muslim, me hearing that with a Muslim mind, I'd be like, it'd get my ears perked up and I'd be like, hang about. What do you mean? Everything is perfect in Islam. What is he on about? And then kind of reversing the dialogue, like stuff that you've been doing for years on YouTube, but in the Arab world, putting this out there in the mainstream context and saying, if the roles were reversed and a Christian came and looted your country and Islam was in power, this is what would happen. Just kind of waking up the masses and even people realizing why he's disliked and discriminated against. I know this has had a huge effect on Arab speaking people. I was reading the comments and they're like, oh, just keep putting out your views because we like to hear the other side. My only concern is that how far will this go? Because like we're like, oh, he's so close to being ex-Muslim. Or
it's irrelevant what he personally is.
No, 100%. My point is, I'm saying he's got all the hallmarks to be a critical thinker so far from the questions that he's raised with Islam itself. My point was, at the end of it all, he said that the Quran, they've made all of the other jurisprudence and scripture and Islam equivalent to the Quran, and that's the problem. The Quran should be the final and like conclusive end all and be all, like ruler of judgment with regarding any issue you might have. So again, for somebody that had showed so much potential, the fact that, I mean, again, though, what he echoed, yes, it could be, and I don't know if he's just trying to speak to the masses, but he said like, I've grown up around them, I was like raised by them, but in 90% they lie and the rest is fear. He's saying I can't help but believe out of fear, and I know there are so many Muslims, even ones that I'm currently talking to, that are doubting. They're still like not willing to cut the concept of there could be Allah, but definitely hellfire as well. So
this is also another thing that's been exported by the Muslim diaspora to the East, where they propagated this idea that, okay, let's just dump the Hadith, the fiqh, all the other secondary, tertiary rulings of Islam. Let's just go back to the Quran. Let's become the Quranists. So that first happened in amongst Muslim diaspora in the West, because obviously they had a bit more liberty to do that. In Muslim countries, they couldn't do that because they'd be killed off. Now that's been exported to these Middle Eastern countries, and I think they're doing the same thing, and they're going into it. So, regardless of where it happens first, if it happens in the West, it's bound to happen in the East as well. It's bound to happen. Like, for example, the ex-Muslim movement started in the West first, but now it's happening in every single Muslim country. It's happening in Pakistan, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Indonesia, everywhere. These ex-Muslim activists are popping out of every Muslim country, no matter how regressive it is. And we're starting to see the results. So, Nuria, as you asked the question, where's it going to go? There's no possibility that I can conceive in my mind where Islam comes out as a victor.
Victorious.
It's not going to happen. To help me produce more videos like these, support me on Patreon or PayPal.